Welcome back and hello if you are new, and thanks for tuning in to my channel where I geek out about metal. Following a career highlight that was Nightbringers, the Black Dahlia Murder returned with a brand new slice of vitriol in the form of Verminous. Verminous is more sophisticated, and though its impact may not necessarily be as immediate as Nightbringers, it's very much more insidious and really gets under your skin. This album is about refining their ideas and really sharpening their creative knives. The big emphasis on this album is definitely dynamics, the changing in sections of songs, endings of songs, and most importantly the idea of melody, which has always been an overarching theme in the Black Dahlia Murder. Dynamics are incredibly well thought out and often create that sense of slick and really seamless transitions that no one really quite does like the Black Dahlia Murder. The band are definitely, I think, experimenting with more black metal tonalities, as seen on the final track, Dawn of Rats, and particularly in that sort of slightly neoclassical acoustic section, A Womb in Dark Chrysalis, which is like a small interlude before the final track. But along with black metal, I think there's a real sense of kind of classic heavy metal that is infiltrating the Black Dahlia Murder's sound, and that's mainly to do with how strong the presence of melody has become. There are moments where the band are slower and more deliberate and operate kind of as a singular unit, such as on Removal of the Oaken Stake. But then there'll be a ripper, for example, that speeds past on Godlessly, or the riffing that's on the Leather Apron Scorn. And personally, a real highlight of mine is that sort of melee that we get into at the end of the Wereworm's Feast. What a name for a song. Verminous, although both compact and technical, allows for a sense of experimentation, particularly with the idea of space on this album, as seen on How Very Dead. And the space allows for instruments to be really heard, like for example the bass sections, or seen on Brandon Ellis's neoclassical embellishments that are on Child of Night, for example. However though, a modern Black Dahlia Murder classic has to be Sunless Empire. And what I love about this track is that not only is it the Black Dahlia Murder to the core, but it shows you just how dynamic they are in their songwriting now. The juddering riffs put together with the kind of vocal pantomime that Trevor Sternad does really hits home and creates that sense of theatre, I think. But the standout, without a doubt, is Brandon Ellis's solo in the midsection. His note choice is absolutely exceptional, but then it's more about the pace and the journey of the solo, which is why when you get a good solo, it's almost like this three-act sequence and a composition in itself, and it is absolutely amazing. Now, vocally, I think Trevor Sternad has obviously hit his stride, but the most important thing for me, I think, is that he's found that sense of sort of theatricality, and it brings to mind almost like King Diamond, but in a non-kind of cheesy way. This is the Black Dahlia Murder pushing their sound forward, drinking in that atmosphere and challenging their sound still, which on their 9th album is really commendable. And that, for me, is what makes Verminous an Album of the Year contender in death metal. So, thanks ever so much for watching this album review. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about Verminous. The album's out on the 17th of April. And I'll put a little link to pre-order it if you want to. If you did enjoy what I was talking about, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're a fan of vinyl, you can also follow me on Instagram. But yeah, drop a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys have thought. I know that this album's been shipped out a little bit earlier, so a lot of people have heard it, so it'd be great to kind of sound off in the comment sections. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Be safe out there, and I will see you guys next week for another album review. Take care, friends.